Welcome back to the Bears Baseball Network. Today we have the BWL Awards show. We're going to go over the best performers from the Bears Winter League here in the 2025-2026 championship. The championship games are tomorrow. We will crown the champions of all 4 BWL leagues. But let's go ahead and get started today with the award show, starting with the MVP award here in the Youth League. Let's take a look at the finalists for the MVP. At the top, you've got Blake Nickerson, a monster season. You see the OPS over 1,700. The batting average led the entire league, 545 batting average, and of course the 4 extra base hits. Wyatt Geldmacher, he was the best hitter over on the Pinstripes team, a 438 average, and OPS over 1,700 to go along with 3 homers and 4 extra base hits. And then you have Benny Wanner, who I think could have very easily won this award. You see the numbers there, not quite as good as Blake and Wyatt, but Benny able to come on fire in the second half of the season and get into the MVP finalist conversation. So Benny Wanner, spoiler alert, not going to win this award, not quite the numbers as the top 2 guys, but the fact that he's even a finalist after a bit of a slow start is very, very impressive. So let's take a look at the MVP in the Youth Award. It is Blake Nickerson who wins the MVP. You see the monster numbers there, the 545 average on a throwback team that is going to be the home team in the BWL Championship game. Very impressive stuff there from Blake Nickerson. He wins the MVP here in the Youth League. Let's move right along to the Freshman Prep League. You got the MVP finalists here. J.R. Welty, an OPS over 1,600, 7 extra base hits. That led the Freshman Prep League, an average of 435. Cooper Woolen, similar to Benny Wanner, started a tad slow, but Cooper was basically unable to get out over the last 7 weeks of the season. Ends with a 533 average that led the BWL Freshman Prep League. 6 home runs, that led all BWL teams. That was tied for the BWL lead in home runs, and an OPS over 1,700. And Jacob Applehans, the third finalist, a average over 400, an OPS over 1,500, and 3 home runs to go with 5 extra base hits. Not listed here, Jacob Applehans, also some very good pitching numbers as well to add to his MVP case. So let's take a look. The winner here for the MVP award in the Freshman Prep League, it is Cooper Woolen. An average over 500 led the league, and an OPS over 1,700 led the league here in the Freshman Prep League, and 6 home runs was good in all of BWL to lead the league. Very, very impressive numbers there for Cooper Woolen. He is the MVP of the Freshman Prep League. Let's move right along here to the JV League, where the MVP finalist, Conrad Comiskey. This guy was a beast on all sides of the ball, hitting, pitching, and defense. You see his offensive numbers there. A 525 average, 1,600 OPS. This guy was a monster. You see the 6 home runs. That ties Cooper Woolen for the BWL lead. Nick Byrne, a 512 average, 1,523 OPS. And you see the extra base hit numbers there. 11 extra base hits led all of BWL by a wide margin. There were a couple guys tied in second place with 7 extra base hits. Nick Byrne had 11 extra base hits, led all BWL. And then Hank Schultz, a 375 average, and OPS near 1,354 home runs as well. So let's see here. You got a close race for the MVP here in the JV League. The winner is Nick Byrne. Those 11 extra base hits set an all-time BWL record. This guy is an absolute beast. 5 home runs, an average over 500, and this guy was competing a lot against older players, and Nick Byrne goes ahead and takes home the MVP award. Very impressive stuff from Nick Byrne. Moving into the Varsity League, the MVP finalist, Landon Nickerson. You see the OPS near 1,300, 7 extra base hits. That was tied for second most in the entire BWL. Seth Mullen really came in as a surprise, especially toward the second half of the season. A 400 average led all varsity hitters, a 1,424 OPS, and 6 extra base hits. And then you have Joey Burgess. Again, 7 extra base hits. That was tied for second in the BWL. Very impressive numbers for him, including an OPS around 1150 and an average of 375. Let's take a look. The MVP here It is Landon Nickerson. He takes it home with those 7 extra base hits and OPS near 1,300. Seth Mullen, I think, had a very good case, but Landon Nickerson's team is 8-1. They will go into the championship game with a 3-run lead. Seth Mullen, unfortunately, the team maybe couldn't prop him up a little bit more. 1-8 record, going to be not good enough to win the MVP award. Let's move into the best pitchers the BWL had to offer, starting with the Youth League, the Cy Young finalist, Camden Kraft. 15 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, and a staggeringly 132 batting average against. He was easily the best pitcher in the BWL in terms of batting average against with that 132 mark and a 545 OPS against. For reference, the average OPS in the BWL is about 900. So hitters were about half as good against Camden Kraft than any other pitcher in the entire BWL. Very, very impressive season. Trey Lede, 14 strikeouts, led the Youth League in Ks, just 6 walks, and a 286 batting average against. And Jackson Frazier, he was mostly out of the bullpen. He put up 10 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, and a 295 batting average against. Solid numbers there for Jackson Frazier. But let's take a look. The winner of the Cy Young Award, it is Camden Kraft. Again, just dominant numbers. 132 batting average against. Guys are getting a hit against him in about 1 every 9 at-bats. I mean, this guy was just absolutely mowing hitters down, and he earns himself the Cy Young Award. Let's move into the Freshman Prep League, the Cy Young finalists. Connor Kennedy, 18 Ks to just 5 walks. Very impressive numbers for him. Whedon Hainline, 10 innings pitched, had 8 Ks to just 1 walk, a 260 batting average against. And Hunter Finley, the 15 innings pitched, 15 Ks to just 6 walks. And again, a staggeringly low 127 batting average against. Very, very impressive. Very tough to get on base against Hunter Finley because not only is it tough to get a hit off him, he doesn't walk you very often. So Hunter Finley, very impressive numbers there. Let's see who is the winner of the Cy Young Award. It is Hunter Finley, that 127 batting average against, that 15-6 strikeout to walk ratio. Very, very impressive. I think Connor Kennedy, a very close second place, but Hunter Finley comes in as the winner of the Cy Young Award. Let's move on to the JV League Cy Young Award. You have Conrad Comiskey there, a BWL leader in strikeouts, and again, it was by a wide margin. 33 strikeouts. No pitcher in the BWL got over 20 besides Conrad Comiskey, and he got over 30. An absolutely dominant season. 6 walks, a 164 batting average against. Alex Vo comes in, 17 Ks, 8 walks, a 238 batting average against. And Parker Ells, a 2 strikeout per inning rate there, 18 Ks in 9 innings, a 3-1 strikeout to walk rate. Parker Ells was very, very impressive in the innings he did pitch. But the finalists here, I'm not going to hold you for too long because it's no surprise. It's Conrad Comiskey who's going to win the Cy Young. Maybe the most dominant pitching season in all of the BWL this season. He was absolutely mowing hitters down. 33 strikeouts in 15 innings. That is over 2 per inning. 33-6. That is nearly a 6-1 strikeout to walk rate. This guy was just absolutely dominant, and he is the winner there of the Cy Young Award. And finally, for the Cy Young Awards, we have the Varsity League. Mason Geddes, 17 strikeouts to just 1 walk. 17-1 strikeout to walk rate. Absolutely dominant there in just 9 innings. A 129 batting average against. Lucas Parrish, 19 Ks, 0 walks, technically an infinite number of strikeouts to walks because he didn't walk anybody. Very, very impressive there. He led the Varsity League in strikeouts as well as that 167 batting average against. And Lucas Velchek, 15 Ks to 7 walks, a 225 batting average against. All 3 of these guys, very impressive numbers. But it is the winner of the Varsity Cy Young. It is Lucas Parrish. Just the longevity, the absolutely unable to walk a guy. I mean, nobody went up to the plate thinking they could walk against Lucas Parrish. 0 walks off the entire season is very, very impressive, as well as the strikeout leader here in the Varsity League. Very, very impressive numbers for Lucas Parrish. Let's move into the Gold Glove finalists. You see here, we've got Gold Glove finalists at every position. At catcher, Ty Zazueta, Rudy Montenegro Langley, and Carson Griffith. Over at third base, Ben Combs, Hank Schultz, and maybe surprisingly, Henry Peterson. He wasn't drafted, and he's a Gold Glove finalist. At shortstop, Blake Nickerson, Seth Mullen, and Hamilton Case. I would say Hamilton Case, the king of the highlight reel plays. Seth Mullen, the leader of consistency, and Blake Nickerson, maybe a little bit of both. Over at second base, Alex Demurtzes, Jacob Villette, and Garrett Perkins. And over at first base, Cooper Woolen, Landon Nickerson, and Parker Ells. Let's take a look at the winners of the Gold Gloves. It is going to be Ty Zazueta who takes it home at catcher in a close race with Rudy Montenegro Langley. They both finished with first place votes. Ben Combs is unanimously the Gold Glove over at third base. Blake Nickerson and Seth Mullen both had votes, but it is Seth who very narrowly pulled it out. Alex Demurtzes won. All three guys ended up getting votes actually at second base, but Alex Demurtzes able to win the award. And in a very, very close vote, Cooper Woolen edges out Landon Nickerson as the winner over at first base. And let's finish up with the All-Star teams at each age, starting with the Youth League All-Stars. You see there, no surprise, you see our MVP and our Cy Young with Blake Nickerson and Camden Kraft. The other MVP finalists, Wyatt Geldmacher and Benny Wanner, show up as well. And then you have very impressive seasons, particularly in the second half. Brooks Biddle, very impressive in the second half, really caught fire, could have been an MVP candidate if he was able to do it for the full season. Trey Lede was the runner-up in the Cy Young race, and Wade Kiefer comes in as the final All-Star. Moving into the Freshman Prep League, you have Cooper Woolen, who is the MVP. J.R. Welty was the MVP runner-up, and Jacob Appelhans was an MVP finalist. Hunter Finley was the Cy Young Award winner. Connor Kennedy got Cy Young votes as well, with Owen Haynes and Hamilton Case rounding out the All-Star team. Moving into the JV League, Conrad Comiskey won the Cy Young Award, and he was second in the MVP vote. Nick Byrne was the MVP winner. Parker Ells got Cy Young votes, and Hank Schultz was the finalist in the MVP award. Alex Vo was a finalist for the Cy Young, and then Quentin Choate and Colby Lair joined the All-Star conversation with very good seasons of their own. And finally here, the Varsity All-Stars. You have the MVP, Landon Nickerson. You have Seth Mullen, who got MVP votes as well, and Joey Burgess, who was an MVP finalist. Lucas Parrish was the Cy Young Award winner, and Mason Geddes was the Cy Young Award runner-up. And then you have Lucas Wilburn and Miles Schauwacker, who both put up very good offensive seasons, and they earned themselves bids here on the All-Star team. That's going to do it for our BWL Awards show. It was a very, very good season again for the BWL. And just look at these names. All guys who I think set themselves up for monster 2026 regular seasons. And we will crown the BWL championships here next week. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Bears Baseball Network. And we'll talk to y'all next time.